Little programming note here. I shoot the prediction episodes every week on Thursday. So I shot this episode before we learned about the news about Demaryius Thomas. So that's not in this episode, and I just felt like I wanted to address that up top because going through the whole episode and not referencing or making mention of it would be weird. So I took the time today to talk about Demaryius Thomas on That's Good Sports, and just wanted to give you a heads up as to why that wasn't in here today. Welcome to That's Good Broncos, the preview episode. I'm Brandon Perna, and today I am answering a very important question. How do the Broncos avoid an upset against the Lions? How does Pat Shurmur or Tom McMahon still have a job? How does Javonte Williams break 10 tackles every time he touches the ball and the Broncos still find ways to lose? Why does Teddy short of the sticks complete all of his passes on third down, but none of them ever convert? Same way the Lions beat the Vikings on a game-ending touchdown. Chaos. Broncos versus Lions. Let's take a look. Let's get Broncos. Hey, subscribe to this YouTube channel, but only if you like watching the Broncos lose in miserable ways and then having some asshole in a beanie tell you how they lost in all of those miserable ways. Today's episode is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Use code DNVR when you sign up, and new customers who bet $1 on any team to score can win $100 in free bets. It's that simple. DraftKings Sportsbook also has same-game parlays. It's a great way to get skin in the game. Combine multiple bets from the same game for bigger payouts. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. DraftKings safe, it is secure, it's reliable, so you can withdraw and deposit your money whenever you want. Again, DraftKings, code DNVR when you sign up. How do the Broncos avoid an upset against the Lions? That's a pretty broad question, and it turns out against a team that's currently 1-10-1, there are probably a lot of ways to avoid getting beat at home. Not getting stuffed on fourth down after driving 90 yards. Not throwing the ball directly to the worst player on the opponent's defense. Not blasting your own teammate before he can catch a punt. And wait for a bunch of the Lions players to get the flu, which happened this week. The flu got quarterback Jared Goff, tackle Penei Sewell, defensive lineman Michael Brockers, guard Jonah Jackson, defensive tackle John Penisini, and defensive end Nick Williams. That's right, beating Goff, Penei and John Penisini are all sick. I'm pretty sure Lions team doctors mistakenly diagnosed those phallic-named fellas with the flu. No way that's anything other than an STD spreading through Detroit's locker room right now. Again, there's a lot of ways to be successful against bad teams though, okay? But the Lions aren't your typical one-win team. The numbers would suggest they're a little bit better. Through 12 games, the Lions have a point differential of a negative 113, which is bad, but should normally have them in the ballpark of 3-9. Rather than 1-10-1. The problem is the Lions lost by 8 points, 2 points, 2 points, tied 3 points, and 2 points, all before finally winning by 2 points a week ago against the Kirk Cousin-led Vikings. A win so refreshing that it produced the greatest Detroit rapper since Eminem in G-Mac Cash.
Won a game, feeling like the champs is about to go to fuck down. Jared Goff had 3 fucking touchdowns. Get a whole team bucks with them bust down. We just won off a game-winning touchdown.
And Dan Campbell got the game ball from his team.
Hey, but I want to give this game ball to Coach.
And just this week, Teddy short of the sticks acknowledged that When he was with Campbell down in New Orleans, after team meetings, Dan Campbell would have guys ready to punch a man in the face for no reason. My point? I'm not sure how many game balls any of the current Broncos coaching staff have received. Now the Lions, they're not a barren roster. Their quarterback, Jared Goff, still has a winning record in his career, has a nearly 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, and well, we know how things are going off the field for Jared Goff. They have a first-round tight end in TJ Hockenson, who's outproducing his college teammate, Noah Fant, right now. There's also DeAndre Swift, who's put up close to 1,000 scrimmage yards in 11 games, but Swift is still injured, so he won't play. TJ Hawkinson's not going to play, and Jamal Williams won't play, so the Lions don't have their one back, their two back, or their number one tight end. That's a lot of injuries to key guys. So let's go through some of the basic facts with the Lions. First on offense, Dan Campbell is now calling the plays, but their offensive coordinator is Anthony Lynn, who's a former Bronco and had 4 games, 1-3, worth of experience coaching against Vic Fangio in Denver from his time as the Chargers head coach. Now the Lions are averaging 16.9 points per game and have only broken 20 points twice. That was in week 1 when they scored 33, mostly garbage points, and last week when they needed all 29 to beat the Vikes. In the passing game, you have to keep tabs on TJ Hockenson, the Lions' leading receiver. Turns out the Broncos have been pretty good against guarding tight ends. Yeah, believe that. Believe it. I know we're all stuck in 2018, having visions of George Kittle going for 300 yards, but the Broncos have been effective against that position. Just look at how they did last week against Travis Kelce. And Detroit loves to use their tight ends. They either have 1 or 2 tight ends on the field 83% of their snaps. And then you've got wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra is slowly morphing into Goff's go-to guy outside the numbers. But I feel pretty confident in Pat Surtain if we see a rookie-on-rookie matchup on the boundary. I do worry a little bit about old Khalif Raymond seeking revenge on the Broncos, who were smart enough to recognize his talent, but not savvy enough to keep him. Everybody loves Khalif Raymond, has 35 receptions, 2 TDs, and 412 receiving yards this season. Basically good enough to be the Broncos' 3rd leading receiver right now. Essentially close. Now, I'd like to credit the Lions' offensive line, which has been getting better this season. They lost their center, Frank Ragnow, but rookie Penei Sewell has been as good as advertised, and if they had the receiving weapons that Denver had, maybe, just maybe the Lions would have a potent offense. Assuming, of course, they had an upgraded QB as well. Now, offensively, I think the Broncos need to get the lead early. That doesn't mean taking the ball on the opening kickoff and not going 3 and out. I expect that to happen, but just getting any lead early on and avoiding situations where the Lions can key in on the pass. The Lions' pass defense is not good. They're averaging a league most 7.5 net yards per attempt, and when you look at their secondary, it's a lot different than the one the Broncos faced in 2019, the last time these two teams played. There's no Quandre Diggs, there's no Justin Coleman, and we know too well what Darius Slay is doing. He's still fucking running and not being tackled by Teddy. At least in my nightmares, he is. Plus, their first-round pick from 2020 corner Jeff Okudah has been on IR all year, all last year too. I honestly can't name a single player in the Lions secondary because they're all married. The Lions defense is decent against the run, allowing 4.2 yards per carry, which is average. Again, average is really something to be proud of when you've won 1 game. So the Broncos might be in an uncomfortable spot, being forced to throw. If I was Detroit, I would pack the box and pray to God that Javonte Williams doesn't break 6 or 7 tackles every time he touches the ball. If I was Detroit, which thankfully I'm not, I would send pressure up the middle and try to overwhelm Lloyd Cushenberry and Quinn Miners. Miners is an absolute unit in the run game. The belly dozer, which we saw last week, but he still makes rookie mistakes and has had trouble in pass protection. This would be a perfect opportunity for the Broncos to get their wide receivers involved. If you can't do it against the Lions, when the fuck can you? Jerry Jeudy had 4 catches for 77 yards last week, most of that coming in garbage time, but he still doesn't have a touchdown this season. And as Andrew Mason pointed out on Twitter, Jerry Jeudy only has 6 red zone targets all year long. When you add it up, the Broncos wide receivers only have 7 touchdowns as a unit. That's not exactly 2014 Chiefs bad, but it's really embarrassing when you spent so much on these guys, like buying your dream home and then not having any money for furniture or a family to share it with. And night after night, you sit alone, naked, on the perfect marble floors and relieve yourself into a jizz sock. That's what the Broncos' passing game is in my eyes. It's absolute malpractice that Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton combined for just 3 receptions and 24 yards last week. Again, Khalif Raymond had 33 receiving yards alone last week. In fact, since they both signed their deals, Sutton and Patrick, those guys have combined for just 7 receptions, none of them taking place in the red zone. Instead, when the Broncos get to the red zone, they're targeting players like Eric Saubert. No offense to Eric, he's been a good third tight end. Now either Teddy is scared to throw towards defenses and their top corners who are covering Patrick or Sutton, or Pat Shurmur can't get any of these talented guys open in space via scheme. Probably a solid mix of both at this point. At the line of scrimmage, Teddy tries to mitigate risk, and it's time he start playing like a quarterback who will never get another chance to start in the NFL. Find the defense's weakness, Teddy, and fucking rip it apart. Rip it apart! Ultimately, I think the Broncos will win this game. That's not too much to ask for, is it? Unfortunately, I don't think it'll be a runaway victory, and the Broncos might lose a couple kneecaps in the process, but a win is a win, especially when you're still in the hunt for the playoffs. However dumb I feel saying that out loud.
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
If the Lions win, all I ask is that GMAC Cash give us the much-awaited follow-up. The Lions got 2 wins. Final score, Broncos get a 23-20 victory and improve to 7-6. And we repeat having hope for the postseason next week. Before come Sunday, that hope is ripped away from us once again. Thanks for watching That's Good Broncos. Please subscribe here on YouTube. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, at Brandon Perna if you want to follow me there. And check out our Carson Strong video up on this channel. It's good.